Good morning, dear students. Today we will see about the application of enthalpy of combustion. Enthalpy of combustion is used, or we can say it is applied, to calculate the calorific value of the food and the fuels. Many fuels such as coal, petroleum, natural gas are used as a principal source of energy. By burning such components produces heat which is used for many mechanical processes. Even I have written here food. So whenever we eat food, it also produces the energy, and that is the endothermic energy, right? Thus, energy released by combustion of food or fuels is determined as calorific value. Heat energy given by 1 gram of any compound. Heat energy given by 1 gram of any compound is going to be its calorific value. And this is why the food is considered by calories, right? So let us see the definition. The heat produced by the combustion of 1 gram of any food or fuel. Whenever 1 gram of food or 1 gram of fuel is undergoing the combustion process and the heat is produced by them, that is the calorific value of that particular food or a fuel. Thus, calorific value is usually compared in terms of their combustion. How far the combustion takes place? The more the combustion of this substance, more is the calorific value, right? So, more the combustion will give more the calorific value, and so butane is more efficient than biogas because combustion of butane gas is more than the biogas. Combustion of butane is complete, and somewhere biogas is termed as incomplete combustion, and that is the difference in their efficiency. Also, we eat food which are rich in carbohydrates, fats, sugar. When I say sugar, then it consists all these cookies, cakes, pastries, ice creams, cold drinks and everything, right? So carbohydrates, fats, sugars, this food which are rich in all such food components, they undergo combustion, and due to the respiration which we respire the oxygen and also the deoxygenated blood in the body, this is the respiration portion and the digestion process. Due to this both process, the combustion of the food which we have taken takes place and it provides us heat energy. But it is not experienced by us as a heat. That's why it is termed as endothermic process. This heat energy is determined in the terms of calories. So, calorie is considered for the food which is to be consumed. Example is given: 1 bowl of rice. Bowl, that means eating bowl. Bowl may be small, big, large, right? But here we will consider that one eating bowl rice provides 70 to 80 calories of energy. Butter provides us 30.4 kilojoule per gram. Kilojoule per gram, it means 1 gram butter consists of 30.4 kilojoule energy. In the same way, for ghee, milk and egg is also given over here. So all from this, now we will undergo one more topic, and that is the constant heat summation. A Russian chemist has given us a law which is in the relation of constant heat summation. Constant heat summation, that means the sum of heat undergoing in the reactions. So as per Hess, he says that whatever the reaction takes place, it always takes place in two ways, either direct step or indirect step. See here, A is a reactant. Due to the heat change, it converts to the B product. So here we can see that A reactant directly converts to the B product. So here the heat change is in one path, and the reactant reacts is considered in one step to give the product. Now here what happens, A is the reactant, due to heat change it converts to B, but here it's not direct, it is because of this and this two combination. So A, because of the first step, in first change of heat it converts to C, and from C with the second step it converts to B. So this step of reaction is termed as two-path reaction, where reactant reacts in two steps to give the product. And here the heat change Q will be small q1 plus small q2. So from this what we can say that as per the Hess, a Russian chemist, the enthalpy change in a particular reaction, whatever the reaction is given to us, for that reaction, enthalpy change is same whether the reaction is taking place in one step or in the n number of steps. So let's see here as an example. A carbon when reacts with oxygen gives carbon dioxide, and the enthalpy change is here minus 393.5 kilojoule per mole, one step reaction, right? So this is first reaction. Now here the carbon is not reacting directly with oxygen diatomic molecule, but half of the oxygen, and it gives us carbon monoxide, where the enthalpy change is minus 110.5 kilojoule per mole. And this monoxide will again react with the half of the oxygen molecule and gives us carbon dioxide, where the delta H is minus 283.0 kilojoule per mole. So this is how carbon to carbon monoxide and then carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide two-step reaction has taken place. So carbon monoxide on either side will be cancelled. So here carbon plus half O2 plus half of 2, so 1 O2 will give us carbon dioxide. So let us see here delta H difference, delta H of first step minus delta H of second step. It will give us minus 393.5 kilojoule per mole. See here the first step, only one step, the one step reaction also minus 393.5, and two step reaction summation is also 393.5. So from 1 and 2 we can say that the enthalpy change is same, and the Hess law, which is telling that the summation of the heat is constant, right? Where is the Hess law applied? So there are the different applications. First, it helps us to determine the enthalpy of formation of various compounds. So let us see here the calculation of enthalpy of ethane. Carbon plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide, this is the enthalpy. Hydrogen plus half O2 gives H2O, this is its enthalpy. And C2H6 plus 7 by 2 oxygen gives 2 carbon dioxide plus 3 H2O, and enthalpy is minus 1560.0. So overall reaction here is 2 carbon plus 3 H2O gives C2H6, and we need to find out its enthalpy. Now here, to make the moles the same, here first of all what we have to see, this is 2 carbon, this is 3 H2. So first reaction and second reaction, here we will have to multiply it by 2, here will be have to multiply it by 3. So first of all, to make the moles same, multiply reaction 1 by 2 and 2 by 3, and we will get for first and second step 2 carbon plus 2 oxygen, that is 2 O2 gives 2 CO2, and the enthalpy will be minus 393.5 multiplied by 2, so it will be also minus 787.0. And the second equation multiplied by 3, so 3H2 plus 3 by 2 O2 gives 3H2O, and multiplying the enthalpy minus 285.8, it will be minus 8.857.4. So let us see here what happens. 2 carbon plus 3 hydrogen. Now here 2 O2 plus 3 by 2 O2. So let us see fractions here. It will be 7 by 2 O2. How? 2 O2 plus 3 by 2. Taking the LCM, we will have 2 2s are 4. 4 plus 3, 7 by 2. So it is 7 by 2 oxygen, right? And gives us 2 CO2 plus 3 H2. Now this is the whole equation: 2 carbon plus 3 H2 plus 7 by 2 O2, 2 CO2 plus 3 H2. And the third equation, which is C2H6 plus 7 by 2 O2 plus gives 2 CO2 plus 3 H2O. But we are asked the enthalpy of ethane. So we will have to subtract it, and we will get this is cancelled because subtraction takes place. And now minus C2H6 taken on this side, it will be C2H6. So 2 carbon plus 3 H2 gives C2H6. Here we are going to subtract third equation from the combination of first and second. So subtraction will give all this value negative, 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 negative and negative. So plus minus, plus minus, plus minus is cancelled. And this minus C2H6 one will take on reactant side, it will be C2H6, right? And so now see what is the difference in the delta H. Delta H is equal to first step plus second step enthalpy, and addition of these two, then minus third step. So minus 1644.4 minus into minus will give plus. So final delta H is minus 84.4 kilojoule per mole. So the second application is, it helps to determine enthalpy of transition. Now first of all, what is transition? Transition means going from one form or one state to another. Now here you see carbon is in the diamond, that means carbon diamond form plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide, where delta H is minus 395.4 kilojoule per mole, and a carbon here is in the graphite form and reacts with oxygen gives carbon dioxide, where delta H is minus 393.5 kilojoule per mole, right? So what is the transition taking place over here? Carbon in diamond form is hard, whereas carbon in graphite is soft. So change in the state is from hard to soft. Carbon in the diamond form is transiting towards the carbon in the graphite form, that is soft. And due to that, this is because of the change in the state, and that is because of the enthalpy change, that is heat change. So what is the change here? Delta H minus 395.4 kilojoule per mole, and this is delta H minus 393.5 kilojoule per mole. So difference of the both enthalpy minus this minus, so minus will be positive, right? We know that what we are doing actually, delta H is equal to minus value of the diamond minus value of the graphite. So this will be minus plus, and we will see here that energy given for transition is minus 1.9 kilojoule per mole, right? So this is the second application to get the change of enthalpy in the transition. And now the third application is, it determines the enthalpy of hydration. It helps to determine how to determine the enthalpy of hydration. Now we must know what is hydration. Hydration, that means amount of aqueous medium. Enthalpy change or heat change for 1 mole of anhydrous. When I say anhydrous, that means the salt is not having moisture in it. It is completely moistureless. Then it is termed as anhydrous. So 1 mole of anhydrous salt, when combines with water, it forms 1 mole of hydrated salt. When water is there, then the thing becomes moisture or it becomes wet. So it is called hydrated. And this change in enthalpy is termed as enthalpy of hydration. Here copper sulfate plus 5H2 gives us copper sulfate pentahydrate. See here, CuSO4 dot 5H2O. So this aqueous water molecule is added to copper sulfate solution, and delta H is minus 78.2 kilojoule per mole. Now this is not as seen here, directly it takes place. Copper sulfate reacts with the 5 water molecule and gives pentahydrate. It takes 2 steps over here. Copper sulfate reacts with the aqueous medium and itself the powder form becomes first aqueous. Then this aqueous powder is again reacting with the excess of the water and gives pentahydrate. So here in the first step, delta H is minus 66.5 kilojoule per mole, and in second step it is 11.7 kilojoule per mole, right? Now this is positive because here you see the water molecule is added, right? So delta H will be positive, and so minus plus will be minus, and we will get minus 78.2 kilojoule per mole. Now from 1 and 2 we can see here minus 78.2 in the direct step, even in the 2 step also minus 78.2 kilojoule per mole, right? So definitions as per Hess law of enthalpies are different, but calculation methods are same. In the combustion method we have seen calculation about delta H. It is also similar. Here also we have seen delta H. So as per the Hess law, enthalpy of combustion, enthalpy of hydration, enthalpy of formation, right? All enthalpies definitions are different somewhere, right? But the calculation methods are same. Now one more enthalpy, that is the enthalpy of solution. Thermodynamics is full of enthalpies. Still we are going to learn about enthalpy of sublimation, enthalpy of vaporization, right? So this is the enthalpy of solution. It is enthalpy change when 1 mole of a substance dissolves in a specified amount of solvent. Specified, that means in a proper amount, in a fixed amount. It's not that whatever the idea we think, okay, we have taken 100 gram of salt and we have just taken 2 ml of water and we are going to make a solution. It's not like this. It is a specified amount. 1 mole of a substance dissolved in a specific amount of the solvent, then it is termed as enthalpy change of solution. If solution is an indefinite dilution, that means maximum amount of water is present in the solution, then the concentration will be very, very less, because when water as a solvent will be more, then dilution will be considered maximum, and the substance which is dissolving it will be very less, so concentration will be very less in the infinite diluted solution. So for infinite diluted solution, the enthalpy change will be as 1 mole of substance, that is solute, dissolves in other substance, that is solvent. So dilution of the solution is termed by the comparison of solute to the solvent. More the solute, less the dilution. Less the solute, more the dilution. Right? Because less solute, more will be the solvent, and dilution will be more. If more solute, then less will be the solvent, then dilution will be less. As for example, hydrochloric acid in a gaseous form, when reacts with the aqueous medium, it will become aqueous, where the enthalpy is minus 69.1 kilojoule per mole, that is exothermic. Here what happens in such type of reactions, when solubility decreases, temperature increases, or we can say when temperature increases, the solubility here decreases. Here is one more example. Ammonium chloride in aqueous medium becomes ammonium chloride aqueous, where the enthalpy is 16.4 positive, so it is endothermic reaction. And here what happens in enthalpy change over here, that when temperature increases, here the solubility increases. So enthalpy change of solution depends on 2 enthalpies. One is the lattice enthalpy and the another is the hydration enthalpy. Hydration enthalpy, that means just now we have discussed over here. What is hydration enthalpy? The amount of water required to dissolve 1 mole of anhydrous solution, salt into hydrous, that is called enthalpy of hydration. So now we will see lattice enthalpy.